What's up, music teachers? In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest way to create your own online music course that supports your dream lifestyle without spending months filming lessons. So by the end of this video, what I really want to do is show you this new plan that I'm wanting to implement with the teachers inside of my program. So if you're not part of the program, consider this as like a sneak preview into what I'm doing with my clients, so that you can be able to do this with your studio as well. So this is something that's really special, something that I've been cooking up for the past few weeks as well. So if you're watching this like as I just created this video, you're getting a sneak peek. If you are watching this like way later for some reason, it's probably this idea has probably developed and been fleshed out into something even more tangible. But for the purpose of this one, I want to show you the plan, and I also would love to hear your feedback as well and see if this is something that you need as a teacher as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. If you don't know me, my name is Ben. I'm not only do I help music teachers be able to create six-figure studios, but we also have a Facebook group called Six Figure Studios. So if you're not part of that, make sure you join it. You can get to know me more in there, but I don't want to spend that time talking about me. I want this time to be more valuable for you. So let's talk about why this is so important here. And this is the problem that I see with a lot of teachers coming into the program that we have to solve here. And it's that teachers spend months filming a course and don't earn any money from it, right? I get sometimes there's teachers who built their course out over months and they haven't earned a single cent from it because they haven't been selling it, or they want to create a course, but they want to go straight into like filming the course instead of actually earning money from it. Why is this the case though? Why do I see this a lot? I mean, it's just simple. Like, people want their course to look perfect. It's a totally normal thought, right? Like if you're creating a course, you'd want it to be perfect. But in this beginning phase, when you're first starting to create your course, you can't expect it to be perfect. It's kind of like, it's kind of like your student not wanting to perform because they want their piece to be perfect before they perform it, right? Like you as a teacher know that's not going to be the case. You're not going to let the student just keep practicing it, or like delay a performance if it's not completely perfect yet, right? Or it's kind of like starting over a piece when you make a mistake because you're trying to make your piece perfect, right? There's got to be mistakes in it. So if in the terms of a course here, if money is the problem, right? If you're in a situation right now where it's like, hey, I need more money so that I can have more time for myself. If money's that problem, let's make you the money first, or at the same time as building out your course so that you're not just spending all of your free time building out a course and not earning any money from it. So pretty much what we're doing here is we're filming your course in a live setting while getting paid for your time. That's the key here. How do we actually do that? Well, it's filming your course either in a live setting, or it's filming your course while students are going through it at the same time. So the goal here by the end of this plan that I'm going to show you is to help teachers be able to create their first version of the course so that they can start relying more on course and group coaching to help students get results instead of just one-on-one lesson. Because the problem that I see with most studios, this traditional way of doing private lessons, is that, you have weekly private lessons, which, it's really great when you have a lot of time. But for the teachers that are being capped with their time, that feel like they can use their time to focus on themselves as musicians, like that, it's a trap more than an opportunity, especially when we start limiting students' income, time we spend outside of teaching, and also impact too. Because if we can't teach more students, that kind of limits our impact. So, as you are creating your course though, your offer will be like a monthly subscription-based offer where the support has more emphasis on coaching rather than just teaching, right? How often do you find yourself like teaching the same things over and over and over again? And I consider teaching like you giving information, whereas coaching, it's that side of you being a teacher where you can give feedback. You can help students implement things into their repertoire, doing more coaching rather than just like lecturing and teaching all the time, right? That's the goal of what this plan is going to help you create. So hopefully you're really excited for it. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So what do we need? What do we need to do? One thing to note here is that your course should be applicable to every setting, right? Like, I feel like a lot of teachers are like, oh, I want to film a course, but I don't know what to put in it. Well, you should, because you've been teaching for so many years, right? The things that you teach inside your one-on-one lessons should be applicable in an online video setting. You could be able to teach that same lesson. You should be able to teach that same lesson inside of the live group, like inside of a live group environment. The only thing that's different, the disconnect that I see with a lot of teachers, is I get this quote from a lot of teachers. It's like, oh, but I tailor my teaching towards the individual student. Well, technically, you tailor the coaching to the individual student, right? But the lessons that you teach, the information that you teach, it's the same for every student, like no matter like where they're starting, right? They're going to have to learn the same things, but the coaching is really what's tailored. That's why it feels like one-on-one lessons is so hard to replicate, because teachers do a lot of coaching inside their one-on-one lessons. But here, what we're trying to do is separate information to then support. So the information that you teach should be applicable. You should be able to teach that in a one-on-one setting. Your course should be able to be taught inside of a live group setting. Your curriculum should be able to be taught in an online video setting. So if that's the case, right, then we can be able to film the course in an online group setting and have it not be affected by by what medium it's in. So I want to share with you how we do that exactly with the 3 phases of course creation here. So the first, I don't have any like names for this yet. Right, I'm thinking of names, but we'll call this first part version 1 of your course. And the goal here, let's just say the goal is to have 10 students in your version 1. This is perfect for you if you don't have a course yet. This will also be your beta price too. This should be like cheap, because you're really testing this out. Not only are students getting value out of it, but you're getting value out of this experience because you're getting feedback from them. So it'll be a beta price. It's also going to entice more students to come in because if you position it as a beta price, it's going to be the cheapest it'll ever be. So your course though is going to be created with a series of weekly group classes. They can also be augmented, like added on with filming videos offline. But if it really depends on where your time is. If you've got a lot of time and you want to film all your videos offline and send it to students week by week, you can do that if you got the time, right? If you got the time. If you don't have the time, or if you're really strapped for it, then what I would probably recommend is teaching your curriculum like every single week, like a weekly group class. And most of your course then, by the end of you filming your curriculum, most of your course will be recordings of your live classes. And then, any students that sign up like halfway through the course recording process, they'll be able to get access to like the past recordings and then just continue on to where you left off. So how you do that now is the week classes will be structured as like half lecture, half Q&A. So here you should have like a planned curriculum already that you can teach. It's like your lesson time, right? So that inside your weekly, let's say you have a weekly class on a Monday. The first half of that class, you'll present your curriculum. You'll teach your lesson to everyone, right? Everyone that needs to learn the lesson, they're able to learn it live. But then afterwards, then you can start to ask questions to your students, get feedback on the lesson. They'll probably have questions on how to apply it into the repertoire. That's where you do the coaching part in the second half of your week class. So if you just repeat that, now you have a way to be able to teach your lesson plus get feedback at the same time. So by the end of you finishing your curriculum and filming it all, you should be able to collect testimonials from your version 1 students. Your main curriculum is fully recorded and stored in an online course platform. And then also your students, and not only just your students, your colleagues can provide feedback, which is really important. The feedback is the key for version 1 so that you can start to have a really concise course that actually gives results, rather than you just filming a bunch of videos and all of a sudden you realize that your students don't even need this information. They needed something else. So after you finish that, this is what I call version 2. And the boundary between version 1 and version 2 is not going to be like super clear, other than like, hey, I've finished filming the majority of my curriculum. So this, now that you finish that, this is what version 2 is. Your beta price will end and you'll need to increase the price point. So now it's the next phase, increase price point. Most of your modules should be filmed already when you're in this version 2 phase. And someone should be able to go through your version 1 recordings and be able to get the same results as someone doing it live, right? Because the people that are doing it live, they got the same information as the people that are watching the version 1 recordings. Except now it should be quicker because they don't have to watch that Q&A part. They just watch the lesson part. Students who sign up during this this phase 2 will be able to get all of version 1 recordings. And now, because you finished most of your lecture style videos and like most of your lectures, your weekly classes will be mostly like Q&A style, right? Where you get to do more coaching. So now the process goes, students who join your course, they watch the curriculum, and then now they come to the classes with questions on how to implement the concepts into their songs that they're working on. Now, what that allows you to do here is that allows you to have a lot more freedom in your classes because you don't have to be teaching lessons all the time. You can now coach. And then if students have any questions about what they need to learn, you can always tell them to return back to the curriculum and be able to learn from that. So by the end of that, so your version 2, we could think of version 2 as your next 10 students. Yeah, that would be a really easy, tangible goal. But that, you'll be able to collect testimonials from version 2 students. Now you've got even more that's building up. And version 3 is really simple now. So version 3 increased the price point even more now, but you should have gotten enough feedback to start polishing the course. So update now, this is the time to really take the time to update your curriculum, make it look fancy, make it look perfect, update your curriculum, your action items, and refilm your modules offline to make them more concise and fancier. Because more likely than not, it's probably gonna be like me, where I like to ramble a lot. You probably in your lessons probably ramble sometimes. There's probably some extra fluff in there that you don't really need people who go through the recordings to necessarily watch. So now you can edit them, make them more concise, refilm them because you have the money now. And you should have plenty of testimonials from version 1 and 2 students from there. So the goal here is to start off with something very, very scrappy, but also works, right? Because you're teaching, because most of your course is in your head. So all we really need to do is take it from your head and put it into something tangible as well. So how do we do this exactly? I want to show you this plan that I created that I'm going to implement with our current teachers inside the program. So again, this is a preview if you're not in it. But I would love some feedback and make sure that if you're watching this right now, I want to make sure that if you are a future client of mine, that this is something that you really need as well. So here's some prerequisites that you need before you even start like filming your course. So the first one here, you need to have a marketing Facebook group, or a system for getting new students, new course clients. You just need a way to get new students. You also need to be able to teach online, right? If you don't like teaching online, or like the medium of learning online, it's probably not the best fit for you, right? Because there's going to be some beliefs clashing. You're probably not going to believe in the product a whole lot if you don't even believe that online teaching is viable. So if you don't really like teaching online, if you don't think learning from an online course is viable for music students, like probably just stop this video right here. You don't need to watch going on. But the next thing here is Zoom, right? Or any teaching platform. Zoom is probably not the best teaching platform for music. There's a lot of other dedicated music teaching platforms out there, but Zoom is something that we all know. Also a way to store your course and student community as well. So if you don't know what exactly I'm talking about, you should probably watch the hybrid model video that I have inside the group first. Check that out so that you know exactly what model I'm talking about, because we have the course coaching community model. So instead of buying like Kajabi or like buying a course platform, like put your course inside of Google Drive. That's exactly what one of my teachers have done. Put their entire course on Google Drive, just make it organized, and it works for her. Also, you could also use Google Classroom to house your student community as well. So people are, I always get the question of like, oh, what if my students aren't on Facebook? Like I can't use a Facebook group for my studio. You can use Google Classroom, and I try to test one out. As of filming this right now, like I look it up. Apparently Google Classroom, like you got to pay for it, but I tried it. It's free. So I would recommend trying that out as well. Google Classroom's got a lot of great features like this stream part that allows you to have announcements. You can assign classwork for your students. You can find all your students here. There's a grade section, but Google Classroom is free for me. So hopefully it's free for you as well. Definitely check it out. Just try it out with your studio. And then the last one, you need a way to collect payments. It's kind of obvious, like PayPal, Stripe, just a way to collect payments automatically. If you're doing things from Venmo, it's time to upgrade, it's time. So let's go ahead and dive into this 3-week process of how I'm going to get my teachers the fastest way to film their course and actually creating it, and actually like get earning money from it as well. So it starts off like this: planning, selling, and creating. And this is this is my plan on how I'm going to help teachers be able to do that. So the first thing is to create your proof of concept. And if you don't know what a proof of concept is, just look it up. Should be easy to find, but it's pretty much your plan, your outline, your table of contents, but the outline of what you're going to teach in your online curriculum. So thinking about what is the starting point and the end point of your course. What do you want your students to tangibly be able to achieve by the end of your course? You need to be able to outline that. So for this is like my proof of concept, my plan for helping you be able to create your course. So by the end of this proof of concept here, again, the goal here, this is my goal for you to create your first version of your course so that you can start being able to have a foundation and earn money from it as well. So the first part here is creating your proof of concepts. You got to know, first you got to figure out what do your students need to do, not just need to know. And what that means here is that there's so much, in music, there's so much you need to know, right? In music theory, but you probably don't need all of it. So really thinking, so I see a lot of teachers, what they do is oh, I have to get my students to know this. That means I got to create a video for this concept. When we're creating, the opposite is true, where when you're creating your first version of your course, it needs to be very scrappy and very concise. So really thinking, what is the fastest path from point A to point B? And what do your students need to actionably do in order to get to the end? From there, then you can start to figure out what do my students need to know in order to do that. So what I recommend here is you don't need to be prepared to learn or be prepared to teach everything inside your curriculum, but just be prepared to teach the first 2 lessons of the course, so that by the time you start filming your week 1 with your live audience, you're already planning week 3. You're already ahead of your students. Each lesson should have an action item as well. So really thinking, how can your students apply or implement this lesson into their repertoire right after watching it? From next, you got to film when your planning days are going to be. And I recommend just choose the same time and day that works best for you. And anyone that can't make it, you still have access to the recordings. I get this question a lot from teachers too, is what if nobody shows up, right? That's totally cool. If nobody shows up to your filming days, but you got students who are watching the recordings, just have them watch the recordings. But what that allows you to do here, it allows you to have dedicated time in your workday to block out time and film that. So no matter who shows up or not, you're getting your course filmed, in a timely manner. After that, you got to set up your beta program, your beta course. So that means setting up your Google Classroom or Facebook group, setting up Zoom to actually have your lesson time. Create your offer presentation. So what I usually give my teachers, some of these stuff might not make sense to you if you're not in the program, but some things I have here is a no-brainer offer worksheet. So you got to create your offer presentation to actually get people to, to actually sell the course as well. You got to collect payments using Stripe. So setting that up. After you do that though, the next week, that probably takes a week to do. Right. So because then the next week, get right into promoting the course and selling the course. So that's the first thing. That's why we do selling before creating. So first, you got to get your beta students. So what that means is creating a list of 10 to 15 potential students. I don't even think I mentioned it yet, but I think those first 10, 15 potential students, they could be your current students. You can have your students, some of your current students pay extra if they want to get this course too. You could have new students come into this. You could have past students that maybe left, but they can come back and do the course. Maybe you have people on your waiting list. This would be perfect to use. Those groups of people as your first 10, 15 students. From there, you got to write a launch post. So I provide templates for my teachers to give or to use so that they can do that really easily. But after you do that, you got to have a DM script for booking calls. Actually, like these people that inquire, how do I book a call with them, right? You create a script for doing that. I use Calendly to book calls as well. And then from there, we got to learn how to conduct the calls and collect the payments. So first, that's actually having the sales call, helping them understand why they're a perfect fit, explaining the benefits of the course and the deliverables, and then being able to collect the payments for to get the commitment, being able to send next details. And then what I got to teach, the next part of the plan is actually learning how to onboard new students, getting them into your private community, getting access to the course and the coach recordings, teaching them how to navigate through the program and everything like that. That's the next thing that you got to learn how to do. And then from there, week 3, that's creating the course. So finally, after that week 2, you've gotten your new beta students. Now the next part here is just gathering the tech to film, edit, upload. It really depends on how you create the course. You might not even need to edit the videos if you do it all in one take. But you need a computer. I recommend CapCut if you want a free video editor that's really powerful. CapCut's a great one. If you want to use a screen recording software that's really good, I use this one called Loom as well. But then we got to learn how to conduct your weekly coaching calls. What do you actually do inside your lecture Q&A style videos? And then lastly, running your student community, knowing how to keep your students accountable while they're going through the course is important. So right then and there, that's my proof of concept. That's my curriculum, my outline on how I'm going to be able to help teachers be able to create their course that actually supports their dream lifestyle rather than controls it. So this video really in depth. I want to, if you got any feedback and you want to be able to give me feedback on like, hey Ben, you should add this in here, or hey Ben, I really liked this part of the plan so far. If you can explain more about that, that'd be awesome. Like if you got any thoughts like that, let me know in the DMs or inside the group. But hey, if you're in a place right now where you want to create your own online course that supports your dream lifestyle, that allows you to have more time in your life without spending months filming lessons, or even without having to settle for one-on-one lessons anymore, I invite you, schedule a free call with me and my team. So somewhere around this video, there should be a link to the calendar. Choose a time that works best for you. As a thank you too, after you book in a time, you'll be sent to like a page with some awesome resources for you to check out. Those are all there completely free for you to use. But after you do that, just be ready for your call with our team. You'll be getting in a call with one of my team members. They're studio specialists. They can be able to help you out. But from there, they can be able to make sure they're pointing you in the right direction as well. So other than that, hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.